I want to say this, that every writer always has lots of pages that they don't like, that they throw away. The same with every great artist. You know, all you see is the fine works of artists, but you would be surprised how many sketches they throw away before they select that which they wish to exhibit. So really, art is the ability to learn how to delineate images of different kinds. And the only way you learn that is through practice. And what I'm about to tell you is a method that will help you illustrate. In working with a large number of students, as many as 50, all of them were able to draw real well. Not immediately. In the first few weeks, they all became expert at what they set out to do. And so it does not take anything unique in an individual to be able to draw. Anyone can draw if you follow the laws. Drawing is just as lawful as anything else. Everything in the universe is lawful. Learning to draw means that you have to know the laws that govern your abilities, that strengthen your values. There are methods that I've devised which are very useful in communicating with children or adults. In working with children at a very young age, say 4 to 5 to 6, I found no difference in their learning ability. Once you gave them specific information, and once they utilized the directions that I gave them, they all were very proficient at illustration. At this time, I would like to explode some of the myths regarding art. A lot of people think you have to be talented, or you have to have a gift to be able to draw, or it has to be based on heredity. Let me say this again. Great artists and illustrators for magazines have always made poor drawings before they were able to do polished renderings. And this is true in every field. We learn as we practice. The more we practice, the better our abilities. All I provide is the methods for starting. Without those methods, it can take many years to learn to draw. By using the advanced methods that I've used on children and adults, you will learn very quickly and be surprised. And when people look at your drawings and remark, you must be gifted, very talented, tell them the truth, that it comes through hard work and practice. In my own experiences, I found that learning to draw enabled me to visualize things which I could not visualize in the past. I would picture the interior of a room, but then when it came to really drawing the elements of furniture throughout the room, I wasn't able to do that because I did not know that drawing was lawful. Illustration helped me a great deal. I had many ideas and inventions which I tried to describe to other people, and as you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So learning to draw, I was able to present my ideas as just as though they were really in existence. And so I began to create my ideas. But without the laws of illustration, I would have never been able to do the renderings that I do today. And that enabled me to convince people, sell products that didn't even exist yet. I would just visualize them and draw them. I took courses in art. Oddly enough, it took years for me to learn to draw. But actually, most of the art instructors that I encountered did not have the language nor the methods to give you the technique right away. You see, a person who's been drawing for years doesn't know how or what it is that enables them to draw. They're not always able to instruct. After many years of instruction, I was offered a job at school. I was told that I already had the kind of information that students were looking for. So instead of taking years to learn to illustrate, you will find your pictures will begin to emerge in less than a month if you practice. I even taught a course in technical illustration, and it was a 5-year course. But the students were really ready to go out and work in a few months. So the dean said to me, "Hey, slow up. In other words, I'm trying to give you all the basic ingredients that will enable you to do illustrations in the shortest possible time. I will provide you with the basic laws that will prevent you from taking years to accomplish anything. I will show you how to proceed with shading, how to draw ellipses, all kinds of things with information that will enhance your drawings. The benefits that will ensue after you learn to draw will be limitless. You will be able to draw all kinds of things, all kinds of objects, all kinds of scenery, all kinds of ideas. You'll be able to draw the interior of your home or an office, and you'll be able to make it look good because you can shade it and make it look as though it were the real thing. Once you learn to use paintbrushes and rendering media, you'll be able to express yourself in greater detail. So you can draw stage sets, displays, objects that you find interesting. You'll be able to draw scenery, animals, humans, faces, the entire spectrum of art. The laws are always the same. Once you learn the laws, they can be applied in a multiplicity of different renderings. I found the benefits in learning how to draw enabled me to express myself with greater clarification. In other words, no matter what it was that I was trying to accomplish, I made a sketch or a drawing, and that saved a lot of time and discussion, because a drawing gives people the ability to visualize that which you have in mind. When you verbally describe something, a person might interpret it in their own way. When you make a rendering of furniture or any object at all, it's a much closer area of agreement, because they're looking at an object and agreeing with you on your illustration and the presentation. One of the greatest advantages in learning to draw, it actually helps you to think about the world around you, objects, relationships, proportions. So it gives you one of the best tools in the world for learning to communicate. When you observe the outside world, everything you observe with a greater degree of sophistication and relationships. You will be able to see things you never even thought about, because they're all involved in the laws of illustration. Once you learn those laws, you are then given tools that improve your communication and your own ability to observe. You know what to look for specifically, the time of the day, the shadows. You become fully aware with a higher degree of consciousness. Your ability to draw will give you self-esteem, make you feel better about your knowledge, about your ability to present ideas. What you call confidence is based on your ability to express yourself. Some people express themselves fairly well verbally, but if you don't have that ability, illustration is the next best thing. In fact, it's far better for your own self-confidence than any other methods known. That's why a picture is worth 1,000 words. My ability to illustrate was very different, because I used different techniques of shading and different techniques of putting ideas forth. And with those techniques, I was hired by many different companies to illustrate ideas that they had in mind. So not only are you able to draw your own ideas, but when doctors would describe a procedure that they would use in surgery, they wanted me to illustrate that. When doctors had an idea for a surgical instrument but didn't know how to express it and didn't know how to point to anything because the idea did not exist as a physical entity. So when they would describe to me what it is that they wanted surgically, I would interpret their description into a visualization and show the various stages of surgery that would enable them to communicate with other doctors in a much more efficient manner. The methods that you will learn in this course will enable you to enter into any area of illustration. And that is the advantage of taking the entire course, to give you the best tools available in the shortest time possible to bring out the best in your abilities. I spanned the gamut from being technical advisor in motion pictures, where I would do set designs, build special models, special effects. Now, special effects is really essentially the business of motion pictures, especially science fiction films. And so I was able, not only in science fiction films, but all other films, to help depict storyboards, layout, camera angles. In other words, the more you learn, the wider your range of expertise. So you can perform in many different fields. A lot of people are not aware of that. When you just learn how to illustrate products or furniture, you're limited. The methods you will learn can be applied in all disciplines, from medicine to electronics to fine arts. In my own field, I started out with illustration, and then I began to go into many different disciplines. In fact, so many of my illustrations have appeared in all different areas of the world. And we've been invited to Dubai, China, Vienna, Mexico, and just by looking at our illustrations, we were invited all over the world as guests. Today, I'm a futurist and an industrial designer. Of course, at first I had to make sketches of my ideas. Once my sketches appeared in different publications, news media, television, I was invited all over the world to present some of these ideas and ways of teaching. I was called upon to design cities, schools, prefabricated houses, not as an engineer, as an industrial designer. And in that way, I was called upon to even present the house of the future, the interior of homes of the future for motion pictures. I was also invited to conferences, to lecture all over the world, to universities throughout the United States and the rest of the world, to present my ideas and methods of instruction. All of these advantages start with a simple sketch. It's that simple sketch that generated interest in the fields of endeavor that I was capable of. And you yourself will begin to create in a wider range, because knowing what creativity is essential to your ability to draw. And creativity is really assembling many different ideas which already exist in unique ways. And that is what creativity is in music, in art, in all creative fields. Writing, journalism, is assembling information in unique ways.
I'm Roxanne Meadows, and I met Jacque about 30 years ago. I really learned how to draw very quickly with Jacque's techniques. He had very different methods of teaching art. In art school, they put things in front of you and had you draw them. And they thought either you knew how to draw, either you had it or you didn't. And when I met Jacque Fresco, he taught me the laws behind art and taught it very sequentially, just like you'll be learning. He taught it very quickly and very clearly. This enabled me to do anything in art, not only technical illustration, not only architectural renderings, but it also enabled me to do medical illustration and fine arts and portraits and people and landscapes and anything I wanted to draw.